All right, let's try this again. Hey everybody, how you doing? I just made a great video putzing through Santa Monica. As you can see, I have made it up a few blocks. If you want some great confusing content, I would suggest you go to the promenade because there is no one there and you could do anything you could possibly think of for the foreseeable future. I've lived in Santa Monica like more than 2 years now, and I have never seen this area so quiet and so, uninhabited. I know everybody's just in their homes, but the thing that is really challenging about seeing people that have multiple degrees, totally disregarding data, which is the same data that I saw, which is that people who have interlacing or overlaying, pre-existing conditions are more likely to pass away from complications related. So unless everyone in California has like a butt ton of like highly communicable diseases that I didn't know about, I don't really see the reason for people to be wearing face masks. The last couple of days I've been walking around and I can't tell you the amount of people that have stopped me and be like, you don't have a face mask on. And I'm like, bro, I think it's because my immune system is strong enough to withstand a cold, okay? Whether or not there's going to be a flimsy piece of fabric in the way or not, I think that the hairs in my nasal passages exist to catch those kinds of pesky germs. So, like, I guess a lot of you, missed that, or this is a lot more serious to people than I realized, but I've been dealing with my own stuff for the last couple of weeks. I've moved a couple times. It's incredibly stressful, and all of this from the beginning seemed kind of out of left field, if you will. So I was just reading an article, I think it was called The Daily News, out of San Fernando Valley, and it said that we had set some crazy, record low unemployment. It was like at 5.9. I think like 3.9%, and now it's jumped up 2 percentage points of unemployment. And if that doesn't scream power play or a sweep to you, I don't know what does. Typically, people don't pull sweeps of this regard that are quite so like long-reaching, but that is, what up? How you doing? Keeping the dream alive. There's like no one out here. It's weird. So like I can't tell you all day long. Everyone's been like, what up? It's really fun. Just past the Lotus lot and Maserati, baby. Some people are still buying stuff, but when the average, middle class American worker doesn't have a job and they have to stay home, the places that they frequent have less business. And as a result, they might not even be open. Like, it's crazy. There's a very, I'd say it's like 1 out of every 10 businesses you pass is available. And if they are, they have, I'd say half of the ones that are open have, weird signs, and they want you to have a mask and all this crazy stuff. And it just, like I already said, do I look sick? Am I acting sick? The only way that you get sick is if you fucking see or are around someone that is sick and they like sneeze or cough on you. So I don't really know what the fucking deal is here, you guys, unless there's something else going on. And with the amount of the fucking joblessness claims that have popped up in like the last 2 weeks, I think I know what it is. Some of the powers that be have made a lot of money, but on the back end. So it's not cool, it's not enjoyable, but it is what has been happening. So I'm gonna try to get my cigarette lit again here. Yeah, it's a really weird feeling environment right now. You see a lot of people in cars, which you kind of always do for LA, but this is on another level. So anyone that does have a job is feeling pretty lucky, and anyone that doesn't is looking for one. It's a doozy. all of these new businesses that opened are like struggling to stay open, and that fucking pisses me off because Santa Monica is one of the most bustling areas in Southern California, okay? And it is hard for the middle class to be able to scrap with the other upper class people here. Rent's a lot more expensive, people pay nothing, you know, for crummy apartments, and that's just kind of how it is. Either you can keep up with it or you leave. And most other cities aren't really that same way. There's going to be space for the poor, space for the middle class, space for the wealthy. And California has been kind of intentionally designed to keep, you know, people that have good ideas and might not have as much money out of the loop of the people that have the money to be able to fund those ideas. And in Arizona, and maybe this isn't right, but most of the people that I've known that have had money to fund projects, and if they found someone that had a good idea, they would just help them do it and then make money, you know, together, instead of ripping off the idea or trying to knock out businesses that are doing that themselves. This brings me to another point that, like, I think of all the time walking in Santa Monica. Homeless people are really easy to prey upon, and people in the medical industry have been known to prey upon homeless people for their body parts. So if a person has diabetes and there is the slightest chance that a doctor can remove one of their limbs to be able to sell that material to the highest bidder, they do that. So anytime you see a person wandering around by themselves and they're missing an arm or they're missing a foot, those kinds of people, A, have nowhere to go when they're stay-at-home orders, and B, they have no advocate for them. And I know that it can seem lonely in this world and it seems like maybe no one cares about you, but if you can think about the people who have no job or who have no family to be able to look out for them, this is an incredibly challenging time, because California, for the first time in a long time, is becoming self-sufficient. And that's a problem for the asshole Democrats that have had a vested interest in California being shitty. Because many of you know this, many of you don't. But sometimes bankrupt businesses make more money than successful ones. And that's kind of the model that California has been operating on, in my opinion, for a long time. So big business, wanting to maintain their big market shares, are just attempting to knock out any of the small businesses that are gaining traction on them. As Papa Trump says, nothing personal, it's just business. But at the same time, you have to know your foe and what these moves are that people are going to be throwing against you in order to keep you dependent. Because it's really crazy for me to think you might be intimidated, like, oh, I don't know how much money I can make on my own, this, that, and the other. Once you start doing it, you'll make a lot more than you ever did working for someone else. And that's just a simple fact. And so right now, while people might be out of work and thinking like this is the worst, this is a great time for you to be teaming up with your friends, reaching out to people you know who might be able to invest in something that you have going on, and getting into it more, supporting the businesses you can if you have the money, and doing anything, if you don't have the money, supporting them by sharing what they do. So yeah, it's a trip for me to see all of these very smart people acting so stupid. But that is California for you. That's why more conservatives need to live mixed in with the liberals. The liberals isolate themselves and they hype themselves up into stupid situations like you see here. And it's embarrassing for like everyone. So, yeah, I really hope that everyone kind of takes a long, hard look at their communities and the people that are there. And if you like seeing them there, then help them out. And even if you don't like seeing them there, maybe somebody else does. And your support goes a long way.